Hello, lovely people. Figure I'd go live for a little bit if anyone wants to come hang out, especially since so many people are stuck at home and doing things. And normally, I don't normally do lives for any sort of, I don't know, day of Sabbaty things, but I figure with the certain stuff going on, hey Dylan, with the world being how it is, I figured time to come on and hang out because I live alone. I don't know if y'all are doing your social distancing as you should be doing, but this way we can all do it together. I don't know. Do I like headphones? Oh, I don't like headphones at all. I know in my mind I'm like, oh well, the things will go. So, hello everyone. Blessed Ostara to everyone who celebrates spring equinox blessings, all of that. Let's hope lots of healing, lots of good things come in. We all, the world needs it in mass right now, right? Cryptid with a solar social distancing is my normal lifestyle, right? All my family's laughing at me like, you've prepared for this your entire life. I'm like, yes, but the minute they told me not to do it, like to do it, now I don't want to do it, right? Like, I thought when everyone's like, oh yeah, we'll go into quarantining and it'll be a thing. And I was like, oh, I'll be totally fine with this. But I don't know about any other introverts, but my anxiety just suddenly felt like a little bit, I just felt 10 times more tense than I normally do. And I feel extremely just like caged in. And it really is messing with my mind in a way I did not think it would until now. I just was like, oh, I'll be fine. I spent weeks in my apartment by myself. I had no F's given. Suddenly, that's not so much the case. So I've been calling my family a bunch via FaceTime, talking a lot more people in general, just doing a lot of that. So I figured, you know what, we can do that on YouTube too. Reach out to other witchy people who are trying to feel into the weird ass energy of all of this and go from there, right? Ugh. Welcome to everybody. I am imbibing. This is the last beer I have in my house. So I'm imbibing an Ostara. And I guess the rest of the social distancing quarantine will just be liquorless, which is like, okay, that's just how it's gonna be. I hope everyone's day is going well. I hope that the worst thing you are facing right now is boredom. I hope everyone is having just, I really hope that all of you, like the biggest thing you're facing is boredom. I know with like the layoffs that have been happening across the country in different fields, especially if you have children you're attempting to entertain at home right now, and just there are a lot of things hitting people right now. I know like a bunch of my family works for the airlines, so they are in all sorts of we don't know what the hell is going to happen to us right now, which is fun. Uh, Thankfully, they are decently well off, so there's that, which is good to know. So, and in, I guess, fun witchy news, I was like, well, there's literally nothing else to do. So, I guess I will have like a nice big Ostara ritual. I like have all my setup. I've got my bunny from my altar. Some other stuff there. I'm gonna do another one as the sun goes down. I always like doing when the sun goes down. My rituals, no matter what, I'm always like darkness, yes, more of that. Even in springtime, more darkness for the wind, right? So, or just I'll do another whole thing with. I always like to do something focused around the Sabbat that is turning with the wheel of the year. And then if I feel like my deity fits nicely into it, I always like to apply that as well. So like this time of the year is definitely like Persephone is rising, spring, flowers, all of that stuff. So I have some pomegranate juice that I got during my buy the groceries that you need for the next few weeks trip. And so I'll do a little bit of a offering and drinking of that type of deal at my altar later tonight with Persephone. A good amount of meditation at my altar. And I think it's interesting because this is normally I do like a focus meditation on like what the feeling of the time is and how the learning and those changes and effects. But also, I think I'm going to focus just as much of my intention as opposed to like manifesting something for myself because I will probably be like more than fine at the end of this, just like prosperity healing for everyone else. Like, I'm unfortunately don't have the means to help in other ways, but at least I can send my intention out, try that, you know what I mean? Create these loveliness, have a little bit of a gathering for peeps if you're feeling a little lonely and caught up when you have to keep to yourself during this time, right? Let's see, let's go to the comments. Let's talk. What's up, Nicole? Hey, Sam, wish you reading healthy. Happy Ostara. Happy Ostara to you as well. Same to you, Kayla. Pink Kiss, how can I consider myself a witch when it comes to forgot no Star Wars today? Honestly, with the times, it's fine. One of the few ways I was like, oh, that's a thing, and like I had enough time to prep and like decorate my altar and do some things, is because with the news going as it is, and then me realizing, oh, stuff's gonna start shutting down. I immediately was like, well, what's coming up soon, witchy, that could like get my mind off of it. So like that's why I have planned a little bit. Like I just foresaw and was like, yeah, we're just gonna give something to look forward to in whatever way we can. So, but getting is fine. So many witches have to look up stuff all the time, right? Let's see here. No, not the last one. I made sure that we had reasonable amounts of TP and White Claw. Yeah, see, that's the one thing where I was like, I've got canned goods. I've got kitty litter. Right, boo-boo? Yes, you agree? You want to come say hi to the people on the live? I'm sure that you enjoy kitty way more than me. And silence. I mentioned camera, live, any of that. So it's the one thing that makes kitty quiet. It's magic. Never works when it's just a camera, huh? I bought like a little bit of wine and then some beers, and I've been like rationing that because I was like, you don't need to like fear drink. That's not, we shouldn't be doing that. But this is the last one I got. So, do you still have to work remote? So I work remotely no matter what. I work from home. So my lifestyle, other than just the not leaving of my apartment, has not changed at all. It's much more of me just being there for people and friends and family of mine as their life has drastically changed overall. So for me, my biggest issues, again, very minor to a lot of other people's concerns, is just me being like, well, I am alone in my apartment with nothing but 2 cats, so I'm going to feel very and trying to find ways to feel productive and creative and not like a little caged in and like not leaning into that feeling of just fuck it all, let's go out and party anyway, when it's like that's not, no, I want to be responsible human, don't want to contribute to the problem. But honestly, like my problems are like way down here compared to a lot of other people are dealing with. Let's see what else we have going on here. People are doing the different plans. Yeah, everyone in the little chat in the side, what are the plans y'all doing for O-Star? If you have them, have you come up with some things? I boiled some eggs previously. I purchased this a while ago when it first popped in the store. So I'm gonna down me some eggs. And I'm gonna put a little bit of, we're just gonna ignore that part of it. It's O-Star eggs, not Easter eggs. You're silly. So I'm gonna like put some sigils and different like some crescent moons or different things onto the eggs with little invisible, well, it's like a marker crayon thing or something, and I'll dye the eggs and then eat some of those at my altar later tonight. So that'll be another thing that I'm doing along with my outer thing type of deal. With my deities at the moment, let's see. So far, I've gotten a little bit of, I had some very interesting meditations, but I don't know, before all the coronavirus nonsense, I was kind of going through an interesting time creatively and emotionally. It was just very like up and down. I don't freaking know what the hell's going on, right? And the coronavirus happened just as like I was kind of like it like that picked up pace in the United States just as like I was kind of coming out of that. So it was very like, oh, new things to worry about as my mental health kind of gets okay. So there were some interesting meditations. There was a lot of like me meditating and being in like a dark circle in a forest with a bunch of torches surrounding me, and I could tell like my deities were on the outside of things. And then there was like this moment where I kind of like started walking, they started pushing, very much like get up and move type of deal. And there was something that happened with like Persephone and grabbing me and feeding me some pomegranates and stuff. It was very interesting. And I journal a little bit about it here or there, but I haven't had really time to digest it and go through it. I don't know, like during this time where I feel like, yeah, I do turn to like my deities and my altar in moments of stress and a lot of uncertainty. But a lot of it is just like me sitting there and just like purging whatever weird energy I have at the altar, like trying to drive it out of me and just accept whatever is coming in as what it is and going forward. Like it hasn't really been me like doing very purposeful meditations or purposeful spells, just a lot of like letting the energy go and cycle through. And that's pretty much been a lot of the extent of my practice with that ritual wise. So there haven't really been any like big things in the astral or anything with my deities in that sense. Uh, just for me at the moment, a lot of my magic has been very grounded and practical. I mentioned in, I think, was it my last previous edited video? I think so, about how like I'm doing a lot of like, I make some candles, I do a lot of stitching, I dyed some fabrics, stuff like that, where it's very like, okay, a little blessing in here, a little blessing in here. Cooking at home a ton more now, so it's like all the blessings into the food, all the kitchen magic. It's good. Is pretty much kind of what I'm doing at the moment, but not a lot of like next dimensional stuff. I don't know. I feel like a very big need to feel very grounded in this moment for some reason. So let's see what else is everyone else saying. Do I have a balcony or a porch? No, I do not. There is no outdoor space. I have a mixed feeling too because I live in a very highly populated area of Portland. Like I'm not in an area that's kind of removed from stuff. So I've been attempting to go on walks when I feel open to it. But there are times where like if you just turn down the wrong street, there's suddenly people everywhere because everyone's going on walks because that's what they can do. And you're like, I can see a stretch of like more than 10 people in front of me. And I'm like, I don't know if that's safe or not. Right. And you're just like, I feel silly at sometimes because you're like, should I be this cautious? Am I not the person that's overreacting? Or, am I just being cautious enough type of deal? Like, who knows? Maybe someone coughed on me or something. Wash my hands with my own 20-second version of a spell, right? They were like, sing the ABCs while you wash your hands. I was like, I'm going to take this moment to write my own cleansing spell that takes 30 seconds just to make sure, absolutely sure I'm not like rushing through it or anything. And I'm just going to recite that a bunch while I do the things. Put a little magic into what the CDC recommends. Oh my goodness, guys, the chat is a going. I always forget about with live stream. I was like, oh no, I have to scroll. Dylan, I like that. I drew Mr. Rogers on my IG story saying, welcome to the neighborhood about being a hermit. Right? Everyone who's like, welcome. Welcome to my lifestyle. There was a meme I sent my parents where I was like, when they finally call your lifestyle quarantine, you're like, They're like, that is you. I was like, yeah, well, now they told me I have to do it, I don't want to. That rebellion thing, right? That conditioning of, no, I won't do what I'm told. But you need to do what you're told right now, right? Like, well, if you can. Ugh. And the sister could wait. Here, we'll do this. Custom message. I'm live on YouTube. She'll figure that out. Let's see. Megan, I set up an star altar in my kitchen as I cooked all day. See, now that's a great way to spend time, right? I was thinking it was like, I don't want to like overcook a bunch of food and like have any of it go bad, but I'm still very much like, it's okay to indulge. I made a whole pan of brownies last 3 days ago, and like it's been 3 days and they're all gone, and then woo. And this I'm like, you know what? No, we're self-isolating. We baked a bunch of love and potential into those brownies. We're gonna do it. That was like the best, my favorite thing ever, is to like take just the top of the brownie, and I just was kind of like just picking at it at first, and I was like, oh hey, sigil. And then I would eat it. It's like I'm just like carving it in with like a little fork. Total haphazard, silly witchcraft. Who's doing more of that these days? Mm. Ugh. Oh, wow, I'm an introvert in 1 week and I want to go places. We gotta stay inside, right? It's like I'm like I am perfect. They're like socialize, make friends, talk to people. What's wrong with you? Go outside. I'm like no. And then they're like stay indoors. You're like I don't want to now. But you shouldn't have to. Good, better for the whole world. Stay inside. I should be better prepared for this. I feel like. Ugh. Tracy had an omelet this morning. Made some Ostara cookies. Drew a picture. Awesome sauce. I'm going to take the weekend to plant things, strengthen the process now. I made offerings and celebration. That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, that's a fun thing. So I had a date with a man who I thought had great potential, and that fizzled out extremely quickly. Did not end well. But one of the things he mentioned when he popped into my apartment was that he noticed all my plants are fake, and he was like, "What? No, you should have real plants. Like, you're a pagan. Plants." And I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, "It's not that hard." I'm like, "I kill everything." No, he's like, "You can try again. Like, you should have a plant. That's your goal for 2020." Which at the time, I'm like, "Excuse me, you don't get to decide my goals." But still, like, he was like, "Your goal for 2020 is to have a plant." And I was like, "Eh." But also, that's not a bad goal to have. I kind of liked that. So, here, I'll do a little plant show and tell. One little buddy, he's real, he's alive. I have to water him and everything. Level up. I got him right before I started self-isolating, so it's been kind of like my thing. Like, I test the soil every day. It also is like, oh, I'm touching like actual dirt, and that feels very grounding to me in the moment. I'm like, oh yeah, earth on the inside. That's nice. So, oh, and I'm getting earth everywhere. Oh dear. And both the plants I got are non-toxic to cats. So if the cat's like, hey, that's not plastic, we can actually nibble on that. It will not hurt them. So this apparently is a spider plant, I believe. I think. Yes. And Big Buddy. This is a medallion plant, I think, is correctly. Got a little purple on the other side. That one's just really waving hello, aren't you, Leaf? Okay. And then I got this pot because it kind of reminded me of a crocodile. So, I mean, how could I not? It's like one of the things where it's like with my other deities, with both Persephone. With Persephone, it's the pomegranate thing. Like if there's like random pomegranates up here, I kind of like I need it, I want it, I gotta have it. But it does not happen nearly as frequently as like if I see anything that kind of reminds me of a crocodile, I'm like must have in life now, which is a bit unfortunate. But like I saw this pot, I was like, yeah, I want that one. So my goal is by the end of the self-isolating quarantine process, those plants are still alive. Then I can get another one, and we'll just like slowly level up to hopefully maybe all the green in my apartment will be actual plants, and I'll be like plant goddess mother, like I always loved to be, but never could really get myself to do it and pay attention to the plants. So leveling up. Let's see, what else we got here? Sorry, guys, I'm going to be delayed on this chat because it takes me a minute to get there. Oh, Dawn says, I love the wheel behind you in the other room. Oh, thank you. It is a tapestry. I think I got it off of, yes, I got it off of Society 6. I was looking for Wheel of Fortune tapestries, and I found that one. Maybe I'll post about it onto my Instagram once I get off of this. I'll just take a picture of that and put the link, or at least the artist name, down below. It's a person who does a lot of really awesome or witchy occult themed stuff, artist on Society 6. So if anyone's interested, it was one of the things where I saw it and I was like, yes, that goes above the bed. I'm all for anything that has to do with Wheel of the Year, fortune, constellations, all of the yes. What else we got here? Sierra, do you have any tips for grounding? For me, a lot of the grounding stuff is taking notice of the current moment, right? Like I just said with like the plant thing, I love to go outside when I can ground, but like in today when you're supposed to stay in your house, not meet with people, like that can be difficult if you don't have like quick access to nature that's also not people oriented. So if you do have plants at home, touching actual dirt. But even if you don't have that stuff, I like to touch either like wood, stone. So if you have any like wood elements in your house and or like tile elements in your house, think things like that, just very earthbound type of materials. And then just a lot of like taking in the current sensations. And I'm not talking about like, oh, what am I currently thinking about or whatever. It's a lot of like, how do I feel sitting in this chair, right? Or how does the energy in the air currently feel around me? Like, what does the air as I like move my hands through it feel like? You know what I mean? A lot of that. And as I'm taking that all in, and I slowly start like pick up like a little more vibey energy stuff and just a lot of that. I'll feel like my hair, or I'll feel like what is the feel of like as the clothes change on my skin, that type of deal. Really monitoring my breath, and that also like checking on my body and like sensation wise. They would say like unclench your jaw. Like, are you clenching? Are you are my shoulders dropped? Is there tension somewhere in me that I'm not quite focusing on? And also, I'll do a lot of stretching. I've been trying to lean more into a more at-home yoga practice since can't go to the yoga studio. Put that on pause from there. So I've been getting into the habit of waking up in the mornings, or I've been doing it a lot midday. Always just seems to be a perfect time for me to do yoga because in the mornings I want to like have my coffee and sit and chill and currently look at the news and wonder if the world is burning yet. And so like midday when I'm like, oh, I'm like need to break from work or break from whatever I'm doing, then I can like, make sure I'm stretching out and doing stuff because when you're stuck inside, there's not a lot of stretching happening. So I do feel a little too much in my mind and disconnected from my body as a whole. And that is showing up in some muscle tightness and just like I can feel my migraines kind of creeping up possibly because we gotta cut that off right now while we can because there's right now no doctor I can go to be like, please fix me. Like they're needed elsewhere. So we're doing that stuff. Let's see here. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Show. What else we got going? Oh my goodness. Things are just, ah! Oh, my sister has arrived. Sydney, I see you. All right, let's see. Sorry, guys. The chat moves randomly, and I lose my freaking place. What's happening? Okay. Da 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 da. Nicole says her practice has been a lot of purging and clearing of the moments. Yep. Ooh. Eat well. Yes. A lot of just like I'm like trying to like, even though I want to like indulge in like the beer and the brownies and all the good things, like I'm also like eat a vegetable, keep your immunity up, and being yelled at by my father every day to take my vitamins just to make sure that like my body's got full level of everything it needs to fight off stuff if I do end up catching it and get a reaction. Who knows? Let's see here. What else we got? Being physically disabled, I am staying indoors. Yeah, no, that would. Oh, wow, I told. Yeah, no, I understand. I hope you're not compromised or anything like that. That I'm sure it's hard enough with whatever disability you're dealing with. Dylan, any tips for starting a YouTube channel? I mean, that's if anyone's interested in starting a YouTube channel, mass recording things and editing things, like doing things in batches, I always recommend. I've been very traily offy as time has gone on for a multitude of reasons as this 2020 has kind of come in, but batch film, batch edit, batch edit, and batch upload, like just put it all up at once and then schedule it all out. And that way, one of the reasons my channel used to be way more consistent than it was before is because I was doing that and had time to like schedule it all out and do whatever. I think there was not so much, I wouldn't call it burnout, as just like lack of inspiration in general. And when you're lacking ideas as a whole and then anything else kind of hits you at once, that can be difficult. So, but batching is probably my number one recommendation for starting a YouTube channel. And making sure that like whatever you're talking about, even if it's something you're not as informed about, want to be passionate and then just be honest about your information level. Like I started this channel to basically kind of like document my thought process and the things like I'm going through with stuff and paganism and all of that. Like it was a lot of just, hey, I want to explore this, and like so when I'm feeling weird or I had a really fucking weird dream and I just want to talk about it with somebody, I have someone to talk about it with. I'm like not trying to come on and quote unquote teach someone as someone who's like, I know exactly what the fuck I'm doing. Like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm trying my best here. I know things that work for me. I share them hoping they will work for some of y'all, and we go from there, right? Like you don't really do much else besides that. All right, we are scrolling past the 20,000 comments from Sydney. Hello. Oh, wow. Hello, Sam's sister is here. Yep. Mariah, she's not ignoring you. She knows that I ignore her. It's fine. It's also good. I also may be a bit tipsy. Well, did you find my sister is at my mother and my father's house at the moment, so I'm sure she found their alcohol stash. Or she might be with her friend, who knows. Ooh, let's see here. Oh, my cats nibble on our spider plant. I have heard one of the people at the plant store mentioned to me something about how cats have, it's not like catnip, but it's like it has a ish reaction, similar-ish with the spider plant. So I was like, okay, like hopefully they won't bite on it because I don't want any reason for the plant not to be alive. Like if it's gonna die, it's gonna die by my hand, not by the cats. But we'll go from there. All right, let's see here. Sierra Meyers. I found the cutest pomegranate earrings on Amazon. There is an amazing jewelry person. I'll have to find it. I'm not going to be able to remember, but she did this beautiful pomegranate Persephone inspired collection, and her posts come up on Instagram all the time, and I always see them, and I'm just like, it's so pretty, and it's handcrafted jewelry, so it's so out of my price range, but I want it. Like Gollum needs the ring, like I want the necklace. That's the pomegranate so bad, but let's see, what's it? Is Sid gone? Oh no, she's there. Let's see what else. Also, guys, I'm like also moderating my own comments, so this takes a minute, to go through. All right, let's see here. Scrolling past the 20,000 comments from Sydney. Tracy, I found a grounding rock that I found when I was camping. It helps having little things to help ground myself. Yeah, that's also good. I have these, I don't know, ever since I was little, I would used to like just pick up a rock that interested me, and I would hold it in my hand and like kind of feel it. So I actually have a small collection of rocks, especially from places that I've traveled and visited. I always felt a need to like take a little rock from someplace. So I have one from when I went to France. I have one from when I went to, from every place I lived. So I have some rocks from Arizona, some rocks from Illinois, some rocks from California. I have one from Mount Fuji when I went there. I'm trying to think of where else I have them. I have a couple from my grandmother's garden, one from like Arkansas where my other grandparents live, things like that. Where are we going? Green tea is perfect for the immune system, especially matcha. Yes, I have some green tea. I like floral teas. Anybody else, like, I know green tea is good for you, and I do like it, but if I'm going to drink a tea, I want, like, rose, hibiscus, chamomile. You know what I mean? I don't know, like lavender, infused something. I'm very weird against green tea, and like it seems to always overpower any other flavor. So like there are times where I like it, but like it's not like my favorite. So there's like a lot of like certain immunity teas where I'm just like, do I just don't the ones I like never seem to do the good thing. Mm. Dragonfly skipped over my question about the orb or 10 or 15-minute mark. Watch back. Orb? Oh well, we have a no ghost rule in this house, so they know better. They can exist, they can be. That's fine, but I don't want no presences. I don't do that stuff. Don't play with me. Don't mess with me. Unless you're a deity, that's fine. We don't insult them. We let them be. It jumped again. Now I have to scroll. Why? It's so hard being disabled. Oh, I'm a YouTuber too. Check out my channel. Also, I'm gonna do a series about being disabled and witchy and being single. Ooh, I would love to see that. That series sounds fantastic. It's so interesting to me when people talk about like, hey, this thing is hard for me. And you're like, yeah, but you never think of like how if certain things overlap with stuff, right? Like it's fascinating me just being like, oh hey, it's one thing to be a witch, but to like be a witch and then have moved to a new city and then like any other thing that I would overlap with, right? So it's like so to have like all those things like labeled on top of each other and like how that would affect your life. Oh, I'm always fascinated by that. Nicole Reed, Solik Jewelry. Solik Jewelry, maybe? Is that the one I'm talking about? Possibly. I'm so bad with names of things. Let's see here. Raspberry tea. Ooh, raspberry anything. I have a problem. I bought a huge amount of raspberries and then those little teeny tiny chocolate chips, and I would take the raspberry and shove it with the chocolate chip in and eat it. And I ate the entire bag of chocolate chips and the entire thing of raspberries in like 15 minutes sitting. It was a bit supposed to space out longer, and that didn't happen. So I'm blaming the quarantine. Let's see. Have you gotten such thing the bronze Persephone statue yet? No, I have not invested in any statues to put on my altar for deities quite yet. Just because there's always something off about the statues that I see that I just don't resonate with. And like part of me is like, make your own then. And I'm like, 3D art is not my forte. I've not dabbled it even once. It just, you know what I mean? It's a whole other medium thing I could learn, I guess, but I don't have any clay or anything else in my apartment currently. I'm not going to go out and try and buy any. So yeah, I don't know. I'd probably to like get a statue I'd really like. I'd have to like privately commission it, and I know that's going to be some pretty pennies. And one day, right? Like I do, except for like crocodile stuff. Like if it just kind of resembles a crocodile, I'm like, gimme. But one for like Loki and Persephone, I haven't done quite yet. Let's see. Bye, Sydney. I will FaceTime you later. Let's see. My dating pagan vid planted a seed as well. It is a very interesting thing, dating while being pagan. It's funny how I said I wasn't going to reveal a lot of my paganism to my dates that I go on in a more quote unquote like I'm trying to think. I'm like thinking direct. That's not the word I'm looking for. Do you know when the word leaves you and you're like, oh, what was it? Immediate. That should be not hard word to remember. I'm not revealing it to people immediately that I'm a pagan. I'm doing it in like on day 2 or 3. But every day that I've gone on so far since that video, it's come up at some point because I'm not taking, I took them off recently because I needed to cleanse them all because I was touching freaking everything. And I was like, I need to just clean everything. But like, I haven't taken off a lot of my rings. Like if I go out, I'm probably wearing jewelry of some sort. And also just, I'm not attempting to hide it. So there are times where they're like, what did you do this weekend? I'm like, oh, I filmed a YouTube video. What was the video about? Or like, oh, I like went to the grocery store, I had to get a couple of like extra things. Oh, what extra thing did you get? Oh, well, I got some egg dyeing stuff. Oh, Easter's not for a while. Oh, it's not for Easter. It's for the spring equinox. and it just kind of comes up that way, like very naturally-ish. And there have been some interesting reactions to it. Some that are like very like, oh, whatever, cool, and others that are not. They're more, like they're trying to be polite, but you can just tell they're not okay with it. So it's interesting. In profile is all right. I think it's working out for me. Like not having to declare it on the profile, but I think it's coming up in the first date or two anyway. So it's like it's just that much part of my life. I don't know. It's very touch and go, touch and go. Ooh, fun thing I can share though. So me and my good friend, she's a lovely plant mother. She knows all about the plants and keeps many a plant alive. And she also has a cat, so she knew which ones to get and not get that wouldn't hurt a pet. And so she went plant shopping with me, and we took a lift to a specific plant shop that she really likes in Portland. And in the lift, our lift driver was also a witch, which was really awesome. And I could tell she was kind of like poking, like she could pick up, she could just kind of like resonate with the energies a little bit really quickly, going like, oh, I think these people are also of a witchy mind. And like my friend is like, she's open to things, but she's not like dedicated one way or to anything really. And she started poking me a little bit, and I could just kind of tell she had something going on. And eventually she was like, if you're open to it, I'm picking up something I could tell you, but I don't want to like impose or whatever. And so she did like this whole thing about me and dating, which was interesting. And was very pushy to the fact of something about me being on a beach and in the month of August, specifically with love, like is very important. And I was like, interesting. Okay. Psychic lady who's also a Lyft driver. I will take the message. Thank you for that. And she just like passed it along. Just like, I don't want to like, but I'm passing this message along. I'm picking up something for you. So I'm taking that in. I made a mark of it in my journal just to be like, we're going to see if she was correct. Because like if you happen upon those very haphazardly, like I have very mixed feelings about someone just like telling you things. If you pick up energies, if you're just like, I'm just going to tell you how your life's going to go, like I don't want to, no, that's too pushy. But the fact that she's like, if you're open to it, like she was very like asky-ish, make sure I was cool with receiving such information. And because I said yes, and then she like gave me that information, it was interesting. But I was like, okay, we'll make a note of that. We'll pull some tarot. We'll look at my tarot readings myself, see if that resonates with what I'm doing at all or whatever else is up. Let's see, Trish says, oh, I love Bast. She's one of my matrons. Ooh, I haven't really looked into Bast much. That's how I feel about Celine's statues. They don't resonate with me, but I know Celine definitely wants to be represented on my altar. So I have symbols for, right? Like, and I think that's like, for me, it's very much of my drawings of them, the two-dimensional ones, I pull them out at times. There's not really much of a 3D representation of them on my altar, any of my deities. Or like I'll write poems, I guess, type of thing. Let's see. I'm still quite in the broom closet. LOL. Any tips of coming out of it? Slowly, and doing it with people who you can really trust, right? Like I think that the first person I came out to the broom closet was with my mother, and that's because I know specifically she really is into a lot of more new age thoughts and perceptions of the universe. Me and her would have big discussions about where we think life is going and stuff like that. So she was the first person that I kind of like told in depth and like, hey, I'm pagan and I'm a witch and I'm doing this as like a big part of my life. Like I feel like this is connecting all the pieces. And she had a lot of questions. I think she was a little bit worried that I was going to be in like some satanic cult. For a second, she was like, what type of witch? What are we talking about here? And I let her in like piece by piece with stuff, right? Like I kind of told her about certain pieces of it and then expanded out. Like I also like don't feel guilty, I think too. Like I had a lot of guilt when it came to the broom closet about keeping certain things secret. Like I felt like I was lying to a vast amount of people. And it's like just kind of realizing that, hey, in general, as a whole with people, we kind of curate what information we allow people to know about us, right? Like it's interesting to me how so many of you guys are people who know such in-depth personal things about my spiritual practice. And you guys know me very, very well on that front, especially if you've watched a majority or a huge amount of my videos, and you have kind of like seen my ups and downs that have happened throughout my craft since kind of not the beginning, but like close to the beginning, you know what I mean? So there's like that, right? But then there's other aspects of my life you guys know nothing about because you're just not privy to them. And I realize, like, in the same way where I can be like, hey, of course, a viewer could know a great part of me when it comes to my witchcraft, whereas, and it's okay that you guys don't need to know, and I don't need to share about how my job is doing or what this aspect of my life is happening or what's going on over here. Like, that doesn't need to be shared to make this still a meaningful connection, you know what I mean? So when I look at like to other people in my life, it's the same thing. Just because I share with some, like a coworker, like, hey, we talk about stuff that does with work and like certain aspects of our life, but you don't know everything about me, and that's fine. You don't have to know about paganism if you don't mean that much to me, or if that's just that part of you is just not a part of it. I have good friends that I love dearly, and I consider people that I would never want out of my life, and we don't talk about religion at all. Again, that's fine because it's not an aspect of our relationship. Where there are other people where I definitely have that with, and I think just acknowledging that and not letting that guilt trickle in when you're like, oh, you need to know all of me and understand and completely vibe with me on every aspect of my life in order for our relationship to still be valid. It's like, that doesn't have to be a thing. You know, it can all be on like what you're comfortable with and what you're open to, and go from there, right? And if there's some people who are just like, I'm sorry, good for you, but don't get it, try not to be offended by that. Like, because there are definitely a lot of people who are like, I think you're crazy. I think you're ridiculous. I love you, but I think you're ridiculous. And that's like a lot of like my aunts and uncles and, you know, dear friends of mine are like that. And I'm like, that's cool. Like, as long as you don't comment on it too much, we'll be fine. Let's see here. Okay, we're back to the scrolling. Me and my best friend go to this mental health facility, and we think this one guy might be pagan. That's always the fun thing too, because right, you don't want to out people in public. Like, that's such a hard thing to be like, but you have the thing. Like, I remember specifically there was one of my coworkers. She no longer works for the company, but for my day job, we'd always go for coffee at the same time at the break room. And one time she, like, her shirt shifted up just a little bit, and I realized, like, in the lower back area, she had a triple moon tattoo, and she was a bit older. And by a bit older, she's a bit older than me. So like she's probably like in her early 40s, I would assume. I'm horrible at guessing people's ages, so who knows? But you know, we would not be in the same generation, if that makes sense. And I noticed that, and like me and her was kind of like just like vibed, and we could talk really chilly on like a coworker, like basic interaction level. And I realized, oh, but you never want to bring it up, just because that office is very Christian leaning, so it's like, don't necessarily want to talk about it or whatever, but like, that's a crescent moon tattoo you have on your back. And like, that was there, and it was one of those moments where I was like, you know what, I don't have to mention it. I don't have to bring up nothing. I'm just going to be appreciative. And there was definitely someone in my parking lot who had a born again pagan sticker on their car, and I was like, which one are you? Who are you? Be my friend. Let me know there's someone else like me in the building. Oh, but alas, I now work from home in a totally different state, so it doesn't matter. Let's see. I've met so many witches in Barnes and Noble. Oh, that would be it, right? Like, you're all in the occult book section. You're all kind of hesitantly picking up the book, being like, did anyone else do this when they first kind of like started perusing bookstores? And if they weren't specifically at a, like, if you're at like a Barnes and Noble, which, like, how many books, actual physical bookstores are there still? But there's a couple around Portland, like Powell's, and then there's a couple others that aren't like inside of a metaphysical shop. that I would go to, but in Arizona, I would go to like Barnes and Noble, and there was I think like two others, like I would just happen upon, and I would just like pick a book randomly from another section and then meander over to the metaphysical section and be like, who is buzzing me? Sydney. Still on live. Jeez. I'm like, look, I'm getting an array of books. It's not just this weird stuff I'm interested in, right? Like it's like, oh, I have a book on history, which is about religious history, and I have a book on crystals. That's fine, and like, oh, the demon one just is in the middle. It's different, right? I'm just gonna try to hide the paganism books in between everything else, as you do. Let's see, Trish says, I don't know. I think for me, it's very awkward. I'm extremely small area that's also extremely Christian. Ooh, that's hard. And my parents think this kind of stuff is stupid, so it's a bit uncomfortable. Yeah, that can be difficult too. I think, honestly, the best thing that's worked for me, especially with people who think that any of the stuff that I do is silly or stupid or ridiculous, that's always been the harder part for me. Not the part of like, oh my God, you're going to get quote unquote damned by the devil. Because for me, those people are more easily shrugged off, and or like I can kind of talk the people that do matter to me that are ish like that, like certain aunts of mine, I can kind of like talk. If I code my words differently, I realize in a lot of ways we might be talking about the same thing. It's just that if I say the word universe and you say the word God, that bothers you. But if I say a power unknowing that we can't really comprehend, they go, oh, you were talking about God. And it seems to all work out, right? But then also they have a very interesting viewpoint that maybe isn't it's very when I poke at my aunt's beliefs and like ask very interesting questions about their very devout Southern Baptistism, I'm always intrigued by the holes that I poke in their arguments and how those holes kind of radiate a similarity of how we see the universe in a weird way. I don't know. It's very interesting. But I think a lot of times when it comes to people who think stuff is like, what you're doing is stupid and silly, we'll go, well, if it's stupid and silly, that's fine. If it brings a benefit to me, if it makes me feel better about life, if it advances me and makes me happy, then what does it matter if it's stupid and silly? Like, I do a lot of like, even though for me it feels a little like sad to do it in a way, is to be like, well, it's the same way where it's like, what does it really matter what kind of clothes I wear, right? Like it's just a representation and it makes me happy. I like this color green. That's why I bought this sweater and I like it. It doesn't have to be anything other than that. And presenting it to people that way seems to open some doors. Be like, well, yeah, of course, if it's silly to you, it's meaningful to me. But if it's meaningless and silly, then, well, if it's meaningless, silly, and stupid, then it doesn't really matter if I'm doing it or not, does it? And at least that opens up the idea of tolerance first, right? Like acceptance and tolerance, two different things, but at least we can get tolerance in the door and going. Hopefully that helps. Who knows? Every situation is vastly different though. And as always, please stay safe because there are still very prejudiced people out there, unfortunately. How long did you wait before you started practice witchcraft? Well, what do you mean by wait? I mean, I've kind of dabbled in the occult since I was probably, let's see, when did I get my first tarot deck? 17, 19, that age-ish. I don't know. I've had a very open family who's allowed exploration into spiritualities and things, but never have I really dove into it until around that age when I got my first tarot deck and I started kind of poking, and I would like pick it up and drop it and pick it up and drop it. My interest in tarot or astrology or crystals or, just like looking into that stuff. I dropped it on the regular. And it probably wasn't until, oh my God, it's almost been 3 years now. 3 years ago, I counted around because I was probably heavily pursuing and or devoting myself to the pagan faith. Paganism in general. Next explorations. About 6 to 8 months before I started my YouTube channel. And then I started my YouTube channel because I was like, I need a community. I can't keep lurking. I need to like talk with other people and like get the weird feelings out. I don't know. So that's kind of like, it was about a month after I dedicated myself to Persephone and also dedicated myself as a witch. Because I did that in June and I did it in July. Is when I started my channel, if I remember correctly. I have the dates in one of my witchy journals in my grimoire somewhere. My grimoire member book, I can't remember, but the dates are in there. I don't really keep track of that too much since it's so. But if you're asking for things like the year and the day study, you can do that if you feel that is something that would be beneficial to you. I am much more of I like to just get my hands dirty. Like I'm just gonna start doing the spells and doing the things and see what works and what don't. Like I'm very like trial by error type of a person when it comes to the spirituality. So hopefully y'all are the same. Because that's what a lot of my videos come from. I hope everyone knows that, right? Like any advice I give is very like, it kind of worked for me for now, for the foreseeable future. Please try it for you. If it doesn't work, drop it like a hot potato. You don't need to do anything that I do at all. Oh, that said, and the chat went crazy again. Goodness gracious. Ooh, little Cosmic Crow. Hi! I'm doing good. I hope you are doing good as well. If my stepfather was still in my life, he would say I'm a devil worshiper. I've got a couple. There's a few aunts and uncles. Like when I published my poetry book, apparently my immediate family kind of knows about it, but other than that, not a lot of my family knows about it. And my mother told my grandmother about it, and she wanted a copy of the book. She's like, "That's fantastic! I want it, whatever." And my mother relayed to her that I was very hesitant in sharing it with a lot of my aunts because they're very Southern Baptist Christian based. They are the type of people who'd be like, "Oh, Sam's down burning in hell for sureties." So that was, very interesting. And like my grandmother would be like, because she's very, how would I describe her? Sydney, if you're on here, my sister pops back on here. Try to describe my grandmother and she's an interesting mediator. Like she's got some opinions on things, but what those opinions are, I don't know if anyone's ever actually pinned her down on any of them, right? Ugh. I hear a meow. Kitty wants attention. It's a different kitty. Let's see if we can get her to come over here. We've been ignoring her because she wants food. There's plenty of food in her bowl. Amore, come here. You want to come here? Meow. Come say hello. Oh, you're fine. What doing? How's it going? We think. Hey, hello. You want down? Okay. Well, you gotta let go of the sweater. Yeah, come on. You're fine. Down she goes. Ooh. Scrolling. Oh my god. Yes, sister, I see you now. Sam. Our family's accepting, but not. She's loving but opinionated to only a few. Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. That's a good the way of describing her. Like good stuff, but also. Hey everyone, happy Equinox autumnal down my way. Oh, I hope you're having a happy fall equinox. If any of y'all are in the southern hemisphere, it's totally flipped. So, the floof, such a talkative kitty. Yes, she is. Much sass to be given. Yeah, it was funny. My sister can probably come back to this. Is the idea that on our father's side, my grandmother was very new agey, very like she had crystals that she handed down to her father that he still keeps on his like bedside table. And she kind of got my mother into it. And then on my mother's side, on my dad's side, my grandmother and my grandfather have both passed away. They were very open-minded in the spirituality sense. Whereas on my mom's side, I think they'd consider themselves Christian still, but they're very, I've never really gotten that much of an in-depth conversation with them about their true heartfelt beliefs, and I don't think there's ever even really been an opportunity to. So it's very, very, very interesting to, poke at that and have it like as I've started to publish more work and gotten more confident with stuff. It's interesting where my mother seems to relay certain information to my grandmother because they talk a lot, and it's interesting kind of hearing the feedback from that. Said they avoid the topic. Yeah, they do. It's like we just don't talk about it because we know it's going to create conflict. Which, if that's how they want to live, that's how they want to live. But like, I like talking about it. Me and Sid have had a great conversation about the universe and stuff. Mm. But probably the people I talk most about spirituality is either on this channel and or I've got a couple of other witchy YouTubers who like we've gotten close enough where we've like exchanged phone numbers, and then like my sister and my mother. Like that's just how it is, right? Like it really don't talk much beyond that. Let's see here. What else? What are things? I just want to pop in and done with spring crafts and thank you for your channel. Help me start my own YouTube channel. I found a good got Loki and got us to meet her. Oh, fantastic! I'm so happy when people say it's helped them out. Cindy, what's gay? I'm not gay. You're gay. Literally, you're the lesbian. I don't know why I always get excited for the fall, like in March, April. I live in the northern hemisphere. I love fall. Me too. I was pulling out the bunny for the Equinox altar, and like my fall stuff is also in with the spring stuff, and I just like stared at it longingly, like. Oh my goodness, what is happening here? Let's see here. Sam actually helped me be chill about being witchy. Oh, I'm glad! Yay! Comic creep a minute to alive. Woo, welcome. It's a weird life. I was just figured, you know what? Half of us are in self quarantine anyway. Might as well. Let's see here. Tracy, is it like non-religious Christian? I know my mom hasn't gone to church since she was a teenager and does not read the Bible anymore. Kind of. That might be what my grandparents are. Like very. They don't go to church, but they still kind of believe in the things. I think if you poked at it, that might be it. I don't know. We just don't talk about it with them at all. We talk about judgments and morality and the politics and all that stuff, but the backbone of religious belief doesn't really ever come up, at least when we're not having conversations. It's interesting. The Windy Witch. I was in another stream of yours and asked of Loki, and you went, I don't know, he's a tricky bastard. He is! He's a weirdo. I don't know, which is very. And he's been non existent for me for a little while. Like he's popped off somewhere. I don't know where he went. He was kind of like when I described earlier about being like surrounded by torches and like he's on the outskirts type of deal. He's kind of there. Yes, Floof. Do you want back up? Yes? Okay. Yeah, this is chill in my lap, though. I'm just back and forth. Can you chill? And it purrs. Yes, that's a tail. I see it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's probably the one that like I don't know, of all of the three deities that I commune with, the Loki and Persephone are probably the ones that come in and out the most. Like Sobek always kind of seemed to be this. Like the only way I know how to describe it is like if you know the current and there's something under the water watching you, like a crocodile. He always feels like that. He always feels like even if I can't see him or feel him, like that energy is still there. Whereas like the Loki and the Persephone, I can flat out be like, "Hey, where are you?" in a meditation and get no response. Just be like, we can't be bothered with you right now. Go away. You know what I mean? Ooh. My great aunt, along with many women, are very psychic. At least that's what my family claims. Well, apparently one of them has been able to levitate a table. That's creepy and awesome in all of the ways, right? I always love them like really concrete. Like, holy fuck, I just saw that shit. It's like told throughout your family. in some ways. But I also love when people do a witchy thing that's like, but they don't consider it that. And you're like, that's witchcraft. Like, no, only the devil people do that. You just did the thing. Like a lot of my Armenian relatives, when we went to go visit them, some of them live in LA, and when we go visit them, several of them harped on me about not leaving like your purse on the floor because it will like the earth will seep your money out of it. I was like, that's a superstitious witchy association. That's weird. Like I don't know what that is, but it's weird. I don't know. Like there's just like certain things like that where I'm like, that seems witchy as hell. But no, that's just a thing we do. It's fine. I always love seeing those contradictions. Sam, can we FaceTime? I miss you. Also, Soph misses you. You seem too drunk. If I FaceTime you right now with the peoples, you're gonna make some weird stuff happen, Sid. I know you. Let's see. Bass pops in and out just like a cat. I'll come to you when I want to. I can see that, right? It's like I will come and pay attention when I want to. Please, we won't. Tracy, the way with Sobek for you is kind of similar for Bass for me. I always dreamed about cats, and they always seem to be around me outside of my house. I have 2 cats. Oh, wow, we're being demanding, Sydney. Look at you.
Please. Come on, here we go. Hi, everyone.
Oh, actually, here's a good question. Would you guys be open to, I know my podcast has gone the fuck off because who has the time anymore, but would you guys be wanting to either do a video and or a podcast where me and my sister talk about really in-depth spiritual topics? Would y'all be up for that?
I would love that.
Well, I know you would. You're bothering the poor people with the demandingness. They're laughing at you.
They're like, where you at? And I'm like, I'm here. A good fucking time.
You can be sassy to her, y'all. It's fine. I am all the time.
I'm sassy, but I'm enjoyable. So you can be right back to me.
That is true.
Oh, hi to Soph. Hi, Sam.
We have Soph too. We love Soph.
We love Soph.
Nice to see you too. Is she staying at the parents' house now?
Oh, she just came over and we went on a walk that was supposed to be productive, which it was in some sense, but then we stopped at a bar.
How are there still bars open? That's not safe. Social quarantine. Don't do what they did.
Oh yeah, Peoria does not shit.
Arizona, man. I'm not doing the best at that. All right, what did everyone have to say about the?
What do they think about us doing a spiritual channel?
The chat is moving. Yes, video. Yes, that would be awesome. Video podcast, absolutely. Yes. Okay, guys, sound off. Video podcast or both.
I can talk about healing since I'm a trained healer with water.
Yeah, she's also a trained healer. My sister has a yoga certification. She's very, what would you say, mystical, new, I don't ever know about terminology. Mystical, new age. She's into energies. She just doesn't consider herself a witch.
I call myself a gay fairy.
Get out of here. I'm not dealing with you.
They're like, fuck you, sis.
Video podcast, both. Video podcast. Okay, awesome. All right, we'll see if we can set something up and put that out. Hopefully, maybe like while I'm bored as hell, and we'll do this as a thing.
Can you do a dual video on YouTube? Is that possible?
There are things, but that would involve technology, and I don't know about technology. If any of y'all know how to do it, help me. The wonders of the internet. I'm sure I could Google. I tried this before. Who is it? Me and me and a couple other witchy YouTubers are talking about wanting to do some co-collaborating thing, but like we never quite figured out whatever. Dylan, woo, Arizona, right? Oh, wow, that's not safe. No, it's not. It is not safe. Don't listen to the state.
No, we shouldn't. They didn't mean until we were at the forum. We said, this is not right.
And you didn't go home.
No, we did after one drink. We bought the drink. You're an adult.
You are too.
Legally, yes.
I don't know. Mm-hmm. We don't listen to her. All right. All right. Try StreamYard, Sam. StreamYard. I shall look into that. That'll be nice. Yeah, because the whole conference calls and videos and getting it on the screen and making it work and making it do the thing, right? Technologies and stuff. So, but yeah, I'm on the last. Oh no, I've got. That's all that's left in my house. You know, we're officially sad. Anyway, do you guys have questions? This is the time. Q&A randomly. Deity.
Do you meditate, Sam, or no?
I don't meditate very often. See.
Do you have a specific meditation right now that you would recommend for people to just find like comfort in like oneness, since isolation is such a big thing right now?
I don't know about connection. That could be interesting. I don't.
I mean, I know that I personally like using the mantra. I don't know if mantras on your channel or not, but like terrain, like either like Ram, which is a bunch of like love. I don't know what y'all do. I just want to know what your community does.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of like for me, what I do when I'm feeling very, as I talked about earlier on the stream, I'm doing a lot of just purging of any energy I feel is not helpful. So the overthinking, the quote unquote anxiousness that comes up with there's nothing to do with that, you know, trying to just let it flow out, accept it for what it is, flow it out of me as I can, like imagine the energy draining from my head all the way through my body, out through the ground type of deal. And then just accepting whatever energy is going to come back in, which the whole world is filled with a lot of weird ass energy right now. But I think sometimes you just kind of have to accept the weird ass energy that's coming in and deal with what is surrounding you in general. Right? That's just kind of that's how I'm doing with it. Connection wise, as I get more and more into having to stay in the single place and feeling angry about it, I probably will start extending more of my energy and reaching out to that connection. And I'll do a video possibly on that about maybe a mantra that I'll set up for myself, and I'll do a little video for it. And then if you guys want to recite it or do the meditation yourself, then it will feel like a way for us to connect using a specific meditation throughout ways. Maybe we'll do something like that if y'all would be interested. Type video. Sydney raises her hand. She would be interested. Let's go back to the chat. Let's see here. They like your question. Let's see what else we got. I wish I could meditate in the morning, but I live with people and they're loud. I know that feeling.
Like an extra early hour.
Yeah. Honestly, like trying to meditate in the morning is great, but for me, I just find whatever time of day works for y'all, like fit in your schedule. Like I do a lot of things midday because it works for me in my schedule, or like twilight hours make me very, very happy. Works well. 6 a.m. You don't get up at 6 a.m. When's the last time you got up at 6 a.m.?
3 p.m.
Oh, 3 p.m. I thought you said 6 a.m. I was like, bitch, you wish.
Honestly, it is the best beneficial way to meditate 20 minutes early in the morning and then 20 minutes at night.
I'm sure it is, but if we can get yourself to do that, you go for it, but I'm not one of those people. All right, let's see here. Do you ever deal with imposter syndrome on your YouTube channel? If so, how do you deal with it? I've been thinking about starting a channel myself for art and witchcraft. Constantly. I am always questioning myself when I put stuff out. I don't know if it's productive or if it's...
Oh, gosh.
You're no longer helpful. I'm hanging up now.
No, hang up. Why? What happened? So I was thinking of that, but then the suitcase fell.
There's pure chaos happening over there. I don't know what's...
Oh, wait. Actually, did you ask me a question on here now?
No, I'm talking to the people, but you are making noises.
Sorry, life occurred.
Life occurred.
Okay, I'm going to check on Paris. Let's do it. I'm just going to, you keep me on that.
I'm muting you.
So.
Please don't. Oh my god. I don't trust the parents not to say something weird.
No, I'm not gonna go to them. I'm just walk by them. To be honest.
So for when it comes to YouTube channel stuff, a lot of it just comes down to when you are speaking authentically as you can, right? And then for me, it's just a variety of being like, listen, this is my experience. It could work for you. It could not work for you. You can doubt the absolute hell out of me. You cannot doubt the absolute hell out of me. You could think that I have resonated with you in all of the freaking ways, or you could not. And that's fine for both. This is all a personal path that we're all doing. And you could decide what works for you, and I could decide what works for me. And I have to kind of like repeat that back to myself on like a weekly basis anytime I post a video. And just know there's going to be videos that a lot of people go, yeah, no, that wasn't it. And there's going to be videos that people are like, oh my goodness, that's so great. And a lot of it just comes down to if I have created a sense of community with anybody, if I have been able to reach anybody to be like, you know what, I get where you're coming with that. Or like, yeah, that makes sense. I went through something similar, or just some sense of connection. Then my YouTube channel has done what I wanted it to do. Simple as that. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I help fight it off.
Can I talk?
Go.
Also, it's very helpful to know that like one day it might like connect to you and you might relate to it, but the other day you might not. And I think that's a really interesting thing because I feel like I often like, oh, that worked so great for me, that mantra, that meditation. I was like, oh, and then the next day I'm like, what the fuck? So I think that's like a fun place to be.
Right? So like something might resonate with someone one day and the next day it doesn't because it's an ever-changing flow.
Yeah.
So sharing it now, they could come back to it later, really vibe with it. They might never come back to it. Who knows? But at least the information and your experience is out there to help hopefully build a community.
So I can hope for it. Oh, see, you're so inspiring. I love you.
Thank you. Oh, dear. Opinions on more prominent goddesses / divine feminine, less gods, divine masculine, the crass. I think it has to do with people's experience with God and Jesus. You know what? I would agree with that to some extent. I think it is an interesting time, especially when we have phrases like toxic masculinity and concepts of the patriarchy and how does that involve then with divineness and the masculine in men, and how do you develop that within yourself in general, and to what extent does that influence your own relationships? I think a lot of it comes down to a lot of people have a more adverse reaction to it and then have to kind of sit down and go, well, what does divine masculinity mean for me? What does it mean to have that in my life, to associate it with that in my life? And I think, honestly, a lot of that just comes down to we all have to kind of question that stuff in general, kind of poke at it and go, you know what, just because someone else called this masculine behavior or called this a divinely masculine trait, does that mean that's so? Is that applicable for me? And how does that apply? And I think those questions can be hard. And so a lot of people are looking for more feminine, I guess, associations because that seems easier because it hasn't been addressed in the mass consciousness in so many ways. So, you got to play with it yourself and dabble where you can. And what could be divinely masculine for me is not going to be divinely masculine for the next person, right? I've also had a lot of focuses on taking a trait entirely out of the feminine and or masculine model, meaning a trait is a trait. It doesn't matter if it's masculine or feminine, even if society deems it as so. It's more of just, is this a trait I want to embody in my life, and to what extent does it apply to me and my craft? Sometimes I think removing it entirely out of that duality or dichotomy, if I'm using those words correctly, has helped me to kind of not demonize or look at certain traits as necessarily one or the other, or for me or not for me, or whatever else type of deal. Hi, Kat. She's standing up. You guys can't see her. Let's see if we can do a little. Say hello.
Good morning. Say hi. Yeah.
I hope that answered the question. That was kind of a bit rambling, but yeah. Oh, bye, Opal.
Oh, I like Opal. Bye, Opal.
How long does it take you to get into the zone for meditation astral work versus when you first started? Ooh. When I first started, it used to take... How long did I used to go on walks for?
I would say for an hour or two.
So an hour or two? I would use my walks as meditations, and it would take literally till the end of the walk to get into that zone. It was a very long turbulent time. Now it probably takes me 15 minutes to get into the zone, and then from there I can determine how long I want to stay into it as well. It is a practice. It is a habit to build. It takes time. And it also takes a lot of just me controlling my environment, which can be very tricky for certain people. I understand. Life gets in the way. Parents barge in during impressions. Shit happens. Things go on. My poor sister was in an online therapy session, and my mother had to barge in because she needed keys to her car that needed to be moved. And it was like very inopportune moment.
Chris made a good point, like today, because I used to meditate a ton, and it was so easy. And recently I fell out of it. And he was like, it's okay for it to be uncomfortable. To be honest, it's going to be uncomfortable for probably a month or two. It's not going to be easy. You know why? Because it's not comfortable being just with yourself. Society has trained us to not be with ourselves, to be distracted by so many other aspects. So sitting with yourself and just what it is can be terrifying and uncomfortable.
Yeah, so also that's it too. If you're looking for it to be comfortable, that is like so much of my meditations are just me trying to figure out how to just quiet the mind for 2 freaking seconds. And the minute it stops, like I kind of continue to push forward to get myself into a space where my mind is just doing what it wants to do without me attempting to regulate it or control it. Again, that can take hours and time. And definitely for me right now, I have noticed it is taking me longer because I'm feeling more stressed and just emotion filled with this turbulent time of the world. That is just something that I'm feeling in general. So, you know, also if it comes and goes, like don't think of it as like it has to progress. It can be like, you know what I mean? Also too, one thing that has helped me if you're trying to specifically connect with the astral, so you're trying to connect with something that's entirely outside of you into a different dimension, let your daydreams do the weird shit. Let them do the weird shit. Do not try to control them. If suddenly you are daydreaming and the person you were talking to in the daydream turns into a cube and you're like, what the fuck was that? That's not helpful. Let it be a cube. Let it be do some weird. If someone's going to say something weird to you while you're just like drifting off, that is some weird ass messages coming through, I personally believe. So let your brain do all that weird shit. Journal about it after the daydream is done. For me, that's the slow breakdown period to when you can just let your brain do what it wants to do, and then you'll get messages way more frequently.
And also keep yourself from judging. Like, judge but forgive yourself.
Right? Like, you can be like, this is weird as fuck. It's weird as fuck. It's fine. Like,
nothing for a reason.
Exactly. Let's see here. What else we got? Oh, no, it's scrolled. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sucky at chats.
You need a monitor, Sam.
Yeah, that would involve me doing things in a normal manner. I never do that.
Structure.
Dylan, I'm a feminine gay guy that mainly connects with God/divine masculine, which is rare. Yeah, I could see how that would be. It's always fascinating to me how so many different people connect with so many different things and levels. And I think like one of the things to like kind of, I guess, step back from in a sense, like I really had to realize that I do not, when it came to like gods that some people that are currently like in vogue, I guess, in the pagan community is like Hecate or the Morrigan, and they're dark battle warrior goddesses. If you asked any of my family, they'd be like, that sounds like you. They sound angry. They sound like they take their no shit. They know what they're doing. None of those gods worked for me. I attempted. I tried to connect. I thought Hades and me were going to get along great. I thought that was going to be a mythology and a vibe I was really going to get along with. And it didn't happen. Having kind of like no expectations sometimes and then realizing, oh, these are what actually connects well with me. Like
who connects with you, Sam?
Well, they all know, but for me it's Persephone. Loki, Persephone, the goddess of the underworld and of flowers. Loki, the god of change and chaos, and Sabbat, who is the crocodile god.
Okay, but those are all still very accurate. Yes, they're not like our perception or like what the fan perception is because they're so black and white. But those gods that you can connect to still make perfect sense.
Right, but I think that's the whole point. Sometimes that what you expect to happen doesn't end up happening, and then what ends up happening ends up being way more perfect in general, right? Kind of just allowing things to vibe into it, and also understanding that like there would be some things about certain gods that someone looks at and goes, "Oh my god, no!" Like they're like that Neverwood vibe, and I don't get that connection at all. Where you were like, that is a huge part of the connection for me, like the instinct, the virality, the almost masculine aggression aspect of the crocodile really vibes with me. I don't know why it is about that. I have no idea what it is with that energetic connection, but that aspect of Sobek, the instinct aspect to the almost violent inducement of it, really vibes well.
I feel like it's in an alligator, and I might be completely wrong because I don't know the traditions of an alligator, how they live, or what anything about it. But from my perception of it, it seems like they strike.
Yeah, very.
They find something and they go after it, and I feel like that's something that is very similar to you.
Very true.
That once you know what you want, you go after it, and that seems like a very crocodile-like mentality.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
Have you connected with that?
For sure. And I think that's one of the things where, like, again, going back to when it comes to connecting with deities or whatever else, it is very true. Where, like, again, my original hesitancy with the crocodile was very fear-based. I was like, this is so wrong. I fought it like crazy. But the more I explore it, the more I explain it to other people look at it. Like my sister, who knows me very well, looks at this and I go, oh yeah, I connect with this viscerally, and I don't even know why. And then someone who knows me very well can go, well, of course, because look at this element here. Look at this aspect of this, right? And I think that's, again, just being open to the possibilities of who the fuck knows of gods, right? Especially because, like,
who knows of life?
You can't expect to know things from life, so let alone the divine. It's gonna be fucking weird.
I'm trying to know. It's gonna fucking hurt your brain.
Do. Where? Oh my! I'm sorry, guys. 1 second. Chat. Mm-hmm. Opal Owl is back! Yay!
Oh, hi, Opal. And Dawn. I think Dawn also was like, "Hi, Sid." Hi, Dawn.
What else we got here? Let's see here. Little Cosmic Crow. Thank you for the cathartic musings. The tags are fun, I think, to help people get excited to start their channels or have a place to begin. For sure, Cosmic Crow does a bunch of amazing tag videos, especially when it comes to the paganism, witchy, spirituality stuff. If you are wanting to make a bunch of videos, just go to the tag. She has a bunch of really awesome ones. Just plug through them. A lot of the get to know you tags and like just kind of saying what you want. And just because you answer one thing in a tag doesn't mean that it has to be your viewpoint for the rest of your YouTube duration. Spiritualities are ever changing, and you get to be too. That's one thing that I had to kind of come to terms with. It's like whatever I say in a video doesn't have to be my opinion forever. I can change it. It's fine. People learn and grow all the time. That's kind of the point of this. We want to all learn and grow, right? At least hopefully.
What?
Let's see here. I started meditating a couple years ago, but I've stopped, and now I'm nervous to start again. Yeah, it's always restarting a habit when we've let it go. It takes a minute to even get yourself to do the first step.
Why are you nervous?
Yeah, and also journal it, poke at it, see what's up with it.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a reason you're nervous. Maybe that's the reason you want to.
Let's see what else we got here.
Also, Sam, you can tell me to shut up at any point in time. I have a lot of opinions.
I'll just hang up on you. It's fine.
Oh, don't do that.
Rude. Let's see here. Oh my god. Cosmic creep. I had a lot of horror anxiety, daydreams, and sleep paralysis for a long time, and I feel like I really shut down that visual part of my brain, and I'm trying to open it. Ooh, sleep paralysis. I've had sleep paralysis maybe twice in my life. It is fucking terrifying. Um, Honestly, I think that's kind of the thing too, is just to baby step it and know that you can slowly kind of regain trust in the part of your mind that it could be connected to things that you have no control over, and know that it can be a baby step process, and that the fear and the anxiousness around that is okay. Like it's gonna be there. Like it's weird. It's like, listen, the shit that happened before was fucking terrifying. Totally fine. And you step it at your own process, and don't feel, I know, especially on YouTube, and like, I'm sure some people will hear my videos and be like, oh my God, you connect so well with the things outside of you and whatever. That took a lot of time. It took a long process. And it just, it takes some time to do those things. And don't ever feel pressured because you see another witch doing a certain aspect or whatever. And you're like, even if you really want to do it, it's okay if you're not there yet. And it's just going to take steps, time. If that's something you want to pursue it and go at your own pace. It's your own personal craft to do what you want to do with it, right? Let's see, what else we got here? For me, Tracy, I definitely resonate with protective warrior type love deities, especially with goddesses. Awesome sauce. Dylan, I've thought about maybe more drawn to God's divine masculine is because I'm gay, or maybe because I'm missing more masculine energy. These are just ideas. It's a good question. Yeah, could. This is also why I always recommend everyone keep a spiritual journal. Write all the weird shit down. Let yourself word vomit onto the freaking page and just relook at different ways to like peel back stuff. Because I don't know about everyone else, but I'm definitely someone who's like, if it's not in the written word, it's not real. It's got to be written down to stay in my brain.
Yeah.
Ooh, someone says Persephone is their matron as well. Yay! Welcome to the loveliness. Although, who knows, you may have been dedicated long before I had to. Let's see. Oh, Cosmic Crow. Oh, thank you, Sam. You really helped my tag videos get out there, and I appreciate it so much. Of course, they're awesome. Also, I would just love to thank you for making them, because the amount of times I've gone into horrible creative ruts, and I've been like, I bet Cosmic Crow has a tag. Where are her tag videos? I can do one of those. It's always gotten my creative juices back flowing, so thank you. Mm-hmm. Cosmic Creep. Are you still mirror gazing? I've started to have tea time with myself in a mirror to try start connecting with myself again. Oh, I love that ritual.
What's that? Mirror gazing. What is that? I've never heard that.
Okay, so mirrors can be used as portals to other worlds. Think of like Bloody Mary.
Oh, good shit.
Yeah, so bad, right? So that's the bad side of it. Or they can be used as like a divination tool. So you look into a mirror to get into a meditative state, or to like reconnect with your image, or to reconnect with yourself. It's very thing. And so I have a very deep-seated thing with mirrors, and I don't like them for a multitude of reasons. And so I've been slowly but surely getting back into them, which I've shared on this channel before.
That's so interesting. Okay.
So with the mirror gazing, one, there is a mirror in my bedroom again, which for me is major fucking step. Like, I'm reassociating the concept of a mirror being near my bed is okay. The demons aren't going to come get me. So there's that. Two, I have my mirror, the handheld mirror from one of my great grandmothers that I did rub the oil in, that I've been meditating with. I haven't meditated with it since, but it's on my altar, open facing, so I feel like a lot of my fear has slowly kind of gone down with it. I don't know if I'm at to the point yet where I'd want to do a meditation with it again, but a lot of my fear has kind of poured out of it since then. The meditations and the messages I got out of that were the most fascinatingly accurate and immediate responses I've gotten in a very long time. So
is that Nana's?
It's extremely potent. Yeah, I think it was Nana's. It could have been Grandma Winnie's. I'm not quite sure. I was trying to determine where I got the mirror from. It's an ancestor's. I don't know. So.
I think it's Grandma Winnie's, actually, to be honest.
Would be Grandma Winnie's? I think, because the brush I think was from Grandma Winnie. I think it was a set.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Getting out of the Christian faith. I don't have a God yet. Take your time. It takes a while to find one you vibe with, if you even need one. You don't necessarily need one. I find they work very well for me.
You just need fucking some kind of faith. You don't even need that, honestly. Just need whatever you want.
Pursue it at your leisure and poke around and see which resonates with you.
I didn't know what I wanted until fucking 6 months ago. But need it.
Right? Like, it takes some time. What are your opinions about Poseidon? He's my main deity. Ooh, that man's interesting. His mythology is very exciting to me, but also, like, there's some problematic elements, as with every freaking deity that's ever been in existence. He is very interesting, that energy pull. I have never felt a huge in-depth thing to really explore his myth hugely in-depth, I guess. Like, there's not been, like, I don't want to, like, peel back all the layers and, like, really look into, like, what are the multiple meanings and the retellings and what could have gone on, like I've done with, like, some Loki and Hades stuff in the past. But his vibe is interesting to me, and he definitely has that, like, I guess the traditional hyper-masculine thing, right? Like, he's got some power to him that could be taken into some problematic ways, I guess, from today's discourse point of view. But very interesting. Oh my god, dog.
Sorry.
It's a dog through a camera.
Can we show everybody Esperanza?
Sure we can.
Why she's cooking? What do you want? You don't even know. Exactly.
There's dogs everywhere.
Alright, okay. Well, Mom?
Well, anyway, guys, I have been now on with the family, joining in for about an hour and 30 minutes. Just fun time. I hope you guys are all staying safe. Please remember to wash your hands frequently. What would you say?
I'm sorry. Let me walk out. I was playing Star Trek.
Our mother's a Trekkie.
If y'all want to do something, well, me and you, Sam, if your fans want to do some kind of video or podcast together,
yeah, cool. So we'll figure out when that is. I'll announce it probably over on Instagram of when that will be happening. And thank you guys for coming and hanging out. Again, stay safe. Do everything you can. I hope that whatever the fuck is going on in the world works well for y'all. Keep your energies high. And have a blessed Ostara and spring equinox, everyone. Good, wonderful, healthy, healing energies for everybody. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Say bye, Sid.
Bye, everyone.